Hold on. All right, guys, welcome back to Switch to Linux. We are have another panel discussion with the supporters. Dan and Quint were the only ones able to jump on today, and I don't know if Brian or Ben will be able to jump on or not. I know Vince is out sitting on the beach, you know, out there in Australia. So, but anyway, go ahead, Quint. What were you saying?
I was saying that my dad. This is kind of funny. My dad put Flex Seal in my brother's stocking.
Goofed up the banner. Flex Seal? Is that for like
it's
tires?
You see the commercials. It's the guy, the Phil Swift guy. You've seen those commercials, right? It's like it's basically a meme now.
Wow. I need to change my title. How do I spell browsers? There you go. And let's do... I found out that GIMP 210 does not bevel text. I had to roll back to 2.8 because I use text beveling on my banners.
Yeah, this is how I do it. Spell browser.
I probably spelled it wrong, but that's okay. That's fine. All right, we're back.
I'm at the age where I have to do that.
Hey, it's still Christmas break. We can slack, right?
Right.
All right. So welcome back, everybody. We are here talking with Dan and Quint, and if any other supporters actually jump on, then we'll be talking to them as well. So this is one of the streams for the supporters. If you support either through Patreon or thinklifemedia.com is where I'm going to be starting to direct people to this year. So if you actually watch the Peppermint video, the re-upload video, it still says, heck out my Patreon link, and I am linking to Think Life Media instead. That's because I have not redone that video sequence yet. So I'm going to get those video sequences done, hopefully, before the roll into the new year. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about web browsers. We have Frost Rangers on. Greetings. Quint's on. Hello, y'all. And Quint's on here, too. Ahmed, hello to you. And Merry Christmas as well. Louie's on. Hello, Louie. And Kyra Holmes, how's it going there? Let's see. I want to talk. We'll hit a little bit on Microsoft moving. I'm kind of reserving that for a tinfoil hat time because I think that there's more dubious purposes that Microsoft has in rolling to the Chromium base than I want to cover here. But I don't know. And the Snazzy Butterfly's on. Greetings. Ben Fitzpatrick. Hello. Jessica. Greetings. And we have Jesse Crypto. Hello to you. Democracy. Greetings. Vivaldi is the best. Browsers is spelled correctly. Whew. Good. Yes, this is a live stream. The stream is live. The stream is live. Hopefully it's live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unicorn. Oh, Alexa, order unicorn meat. For everybody who just got an Alexa this Christmas, Alexa, order unicorn meat. Confirm. Good. Now that you guys have your unicorn meat coming, compliments of me.
Have you actually said that to a real Alexa?
I have not.
I don't have an Alexa, but I would love to try that.
Maybe I'll have to go into like a store. Like we had Alexas in our grocery store, and I actually avoided that aisle for 6 months. It's like I'm not walking near an Alexa.
See what Siri has to say about that.
What does Siri have to say?
I can do Google Assistant.
Siri, order unicorn meat.
Okay, check it out.
Oh, she just gives a butcher shop, unicorn feed supply, Marv's Bakery. Okay.
Okay, let's hear Google Assistant. Okay. Order unicorn meat.
I found this on the web.
Oh my God, look, it says canned unicorn meat.
Yes, that is it. That's the stuff. But that's actually on Amazon. So if anybody has their Alexa set up to actually place orders through Speak Confirm, Alexa, order unicorn meat. Confirm.
Apparently Apple don't want nothing to do with it.
Apparently not. No, Apple's a little strange. All right. Well, today we're going to talk.
Yeah, so today we're going to... They're apples, and they want to feed their unicorns apples, so they don't want to sell the meat.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, so yeah, we're going to talk about web browsers today. What web browsers are we using, and which have we used? I was hoping Pizza might jump around as well because he has an interesting use case scenario for why he uses Google Chrome. Of course, I don't really touch Google Chrome, but there is certainly reasons to go it. So what are you guys using? Dan, what are you using for a web browser right now?
Web browser or browsers?
Browsers, plural.
Okay.
Pluralization.
I am currently watching the stream and the live chat comments on Waterfox.
Okay.
I am now connected to you through Hangouts through Vivaldi.
Okay, so I know I ran into that the other day because I'm using Waterfox now for my Google connection on Fedora right now, and of course that does not support Google Hangouts at all that I could find. So
No.
you're using Vivaldi for that.
Yeah, Vivaldi has a step-up feature that I really like over Chromium, and it's got like all your pictures down at the bottom, but there's a slide bar so I can increase the size of everybody.
Oh.
And then
cool.
I can, then I can see you all much better than just the little tiny boxes.
Okay. Yeah, of course I have those kind of cut off at the bottom so they aren't showing up on the stream, but that is actually a pretty cool thing. I'll have to install Vivaldi on this instead of I jumped over to Chromium on Toss's stream the other night because of course Waterfox wouldn't work. So you're using mostly Waterfox and then Vivaldi when you need some other feature?
Vivaldi when I need to do a hangout.
Okay. Quint, what are you on?
I'm on Chromium right now for the Hangouts, but I do everything else, including the live chat feed is in Firefox.
Firefox, okay.
I like I know most of you guys don't, but I actually really like Firefox Quantum. I like the design of it. And so unless they do something really, really, really crazy, I'm not going to consider switching.
Yeah, I want to see, one of the reasons I'm sticking with Fedora a little bit longer is I want to see these suggestions that eventually wants to give me on Firefox.
I disable that, right? It's on 64 now for Fedora.
Correct.
Waterfox does not change like Firefox does. Well, Firefox, they update like every month or so. It's rare to get an update with Waterfox unless it's security related.
Yeah,
I did 56,
just get one.
Right? I think it's still on Firefox 56.
Let me look at it. I know mine just updated.
56.2.6 is what Waterfox is on.
That's what I got as well. Very good. Quint, you also use a Mac for school, right?
Yes, I use Firefox and Chromium on those two. Same.
Okay, so do you ever use Safari over there?
No, the only thing on my Safari history is download Firefox. Like I've only opened it once, I think.
It's like Internet Explorer, the #1 browser to download a better browser.
Safari has like the worst UI, and there's not. It's like so basic. Like it feels like a mobile browser.
Yeah, it does. There's one neat advantage to it, and that's the more recent rollout. Of course, my Mac still runs Yosemite, so I don't have this feature. But now Safari was the first browser to block auto-playing videos. Yeah, by default.
I always update. I'm on Mojave on there.
Yeah, you have the luxury of having a decent Mac. I still have the previous generation Mac Mini.
I wouldn't get the new one because it has the T2 chip in it.
I do not need Skynet taking down my Office network, so I will not be getting T2s.
My Mac is the last generation MacBook Pro without the T2 chip. Mine is a 2017.
Oh, Keegan says, is anyone else using Netscape Navigator? Quint, do you even remember Netscape Navigator?
I have heard of it. I've never looked at it.
It fell out of support in 2004, I think.
And that's the year that I was born.
Yeah, so yeah, probably not.
So yeah, Firefox is actually, Mozilla was founded by Netscape. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, so they did.
Technically, we're all using Netscape Navigator right now, but a very, very different version of it.
back in Windows 95 days, you would have, if you would get onto the internet with the old dial-up, if you wanted to get a different browser that was not Internet Explorer or AOL, you would download Netscape Navigator, and it took about 3.5 or so hours to download, and it was a 15 megabyte file.
Couldn't you go and buy it? Didn't they sell it places too?
Not Netscape. Not that I know of. I don't know.
These were the days when...
I thought they could make easy money off of that because people wouldn't want to wait 3 hours.
Well, Quint, people, what they did back then is they actually hit the download button, left their computer on, and went to bed and woke up the next morning hoping that they had the whole file.
Exactly what I did. That's exactly how I got mine. And that's the major advantage of that is it actually had the first free web editor Composer. They had Netscape Composer with it, so you could build web pages. Awesome stuff. So that's that. So of course the major browsers, of course, we have Chrome and Chromium based things. Now the biggest concern right now, and one of the reasons that we wanted to just chat about this a little bit, is if you've not heard, Microsoft is dropping the engines behind Edge and switching all their Edge components into Chromium based.
Yeah, I heard
which
that.
Which basically means as soon as they do that, nearly everything will be based on Google's Chromium-based WebKit.
But the thing, I'm sure Google's not happy about this because Google likes to put ads on google.com if you browse in a different browser telling you to download Chrome, and they won't be able to do that because it's Chromium-based.
Well, no, because they'll detect if it's Chrome rather than Chromium-based. I think they'll still be able to do that.
Okay.
I think that's still going to be something that we see.
Well, is Microsoft using the open source Chromium to build their Chrome lookalike?
Well, that's exactly it. It's not a Chrome lookalike. It is switching their entire kit over to the Chromium core. And that also, though, means that Microsoft is going to start contributing to Chromium itself. And so now we have Google and Chromium both submitting code to the Chromium base, which might mean I jettison Chromium faster. I don't know.
Yeah, that's... Chrome is like the least favorite browser
Are they going to switch Internet Explorer too?
That probably has to stay exactly where it is because the reason it still exists is because of... it still exists because there's all of these back-end codes and things that they have to use, and for enterprise-related type stuff. And
I know there's it's ActiveX.
I have to use it to log on to the factory website that makes the products from our company.
Yep.
Nothing else is guaranteed to work, or usually won't work. Mm-hmm. You have to use the Internet Explorer 11. Yep.
Which is why it's still packaged with Windows. And
it's got some basic super proprietary, things for enterprise use.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's kind of that. So of course we have Google Chrome is the #1 browser out there, and I would recommend that unless you have a very specific use case scenario, not to use Google Chrome. There's just too many issues with it, but even those are moving back over and becoming... that's becoming more like... my train of thought has completely derailed. Somebody take over for me. I don't know what I'm thinking anymore.
Waterfox.
Yeah, Waterfox is good. Where I was going with that is... Google and Chromium and now Microsoft is going to have this Chromium base that likes logging you into their accounts whenever you just log into things. And that's just not good. Now, Pizza has a very good use case scenario for why he uses Google Chrome. And that's that the school system blocks a lot of the browser base.
Yeah.
And so he can sync his browser... he can sync his browser at home and the browser at school, and it gets around a lot of the things that otherwise block the extensions that he needs or things like that. And that's a use case scenario that's good.
I don't have anything like that at my school, fortunately.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't add anything. So I don't even have Chrome installed on my school computer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm always in Firefox, even though the teachers yell at me and tell me to use Chrome, but I'm always still in Firefox.
Yeah. like, why? Why should I use Chrome? Because.
They're like, because it syncs with Google Classroom.
That's exactly why I'm not using it.
It's because the teacher does not know Firefox, and what she doesn't know about frightens her or puts her off guard, more or less.
I would probably agree that that's...
So if she doesn't come over and look at a problem you're having, Quentin, you're not on Chromium and you're on something that the other classroom mates aren't using, then she's going to be kind of like, what is this and what do I do about it?
Yeah, and I can...
Only a few of my teachers complain. My main teacher doesn't complain because he's a Mac user and he likes Safari, so he doesn't complain.
Yeah, because no one else is going to be on that.
The other reason is because we have something called Securely at our school, which basically is a thing where anytime you access like a Google page, you have to sign in with your Google account. Like anytime you, and not a Google page, but any page, you have to sign in with your Google account so that they can log the history to your Google account.
That's just crazy.
And it's your school.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
But the other thing that they do is, I think with Chrome, they can see all the history. Like with Firefox, they can't see everything because it's not a Google
stealing your data before you're an adult.
Yeah.
So that's why... So the teachers, they can't see as much stuff as they could if I was using Chrome.
And that's a very good use case to not use Chrome. Quite honestly. I mean, that's to me, like, we are in a system where we are compelled to go to school, but the school compels us to use these products and these companies that we don't agree to their terms of service. Something needs to be done about that, which is kind of crazy.
Go ahead, Quint.
The other thing is you have to install, in order for some, like I can't access some web pages because you have to install, you have to manually load a certificate into your computer that's part of that thing. That basically what it will do is it'll change all SSLs from whoever it is, Let's Encrypt Komodo or whatever, to Securely. It'll change the signature to be verified by Securely. That's how they get it. That's how they can see everything.
I thought that's what Pizza's school was using. I wish Pizza was on. He'd be able to clarify that. I thought that's what his school is.
So anytime, even like instead of when you click on a website, when you look at who the certificate is verified by, instead of saying like Komodo or whatever, it'll say verified by Securely Inc.
Yep. And that is effectively a man-in-the-middle attack, which is kind of funny.
But they make you load the certificate onto your computer, which I obviously deleted it the second after it was loaded. And I actually did that while they were still giving the instructions because I did it all by myself while they were still helping all the other students load it onto the computer.
And what do your parents think about this?
I haven't really told them about it.
Ooh, it'd be better if you had their support though.
But yeah, I don't really. They probably don't really have much of an opinion on it.
I would agree. At least
talk it over with them and see what their feelings are.
Yeah.
Because chances are, if you're doing it for a reason, they might get behind you if they listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, I agree. Here's one. We haven't talked about Opera today yet. So of course, anyone using that?
I've used it before, but I don't use it. I never really liked it, especially that weird sidebar thing that had.
I might have used it and got turned off by it and threw it away.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent alternative browser a while back, but then, it was bought by a Chinese company, and they started to do a lot of weird browser injection stuff into it. So if you went to Amazon, it would automatically put their company's Amazon affiliate link. So if you used Opera thinking that you were supporting another creator on Amazon, you were probably actually sending that money to Opera instead.
So it goes good with Deepin, right?
Yeah, it does. That should be the one installed on Deepin rather than Google, but oh well. And so of course we talked a little bit about Vivaldi, which I've only used a couple of times. I'm not a huge Vivaldi advocate. I should probably look into it more. But to my understanding, though, isn't there some closed source stuff in Vivaldi too?
It's closed source completely.
Is it? Oh, it is completely closed source. That's probably why I haven't used it.
But it works.
But it works. Okay.
Give it a shot. You might like it, especially if you try it with a Hangout.
Okay, yeah. I have to. I have to go. I have to step off for a second.
Okay.
Be back.
All right.
Okay.
The other thing, hey, there's Pizza. Pizza, we were talking about you, man. We were talking about you.
Pizza. Come and
Alright,
join us,
Pizza.
bud.
Let's see. Some people, oh, this is a neat one from Richard Addison. Some people believe the internet is Google. They say like Google it instead of run an internet search. And that's something that I've done over the last couple of years is I've trained myself to stop saying Google it. I've trained myself to say do an internet search or search for whatever else.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. I tried to pitch the Google it thing down the road and say search for it on the internet or anything but Google it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. Pizza says he can't. Can't what? Can't get on?
Oh, yeah, maybe not. Well, I sent a link anyway in case you can, but that's okay.
He's still got daylight where he's at.
I am back.
All right, welcome back. Cobalt Link forced to use Chromium because hardware acceleration for NVIDIA is just not there for Firefox. Okay, well, there's a good use case reason. So either, and I'm guessing that Chrome would also work. So Chromium or Chrome might be my guess. Now, is Vivaldi based on Chromium as well?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that might work as well.
Opera is
It's a
based on
derivative of
Chromium.
Chromium.
I believe Opera is based on Chromium too.
Okay, so Jesse Crypto uses Firefox, Chromium, and Opera for various use cases. Haven't gotten around to swapping Firefox for Waterfox. So that's we've talked about Waterfox a little bit. Waterfox is a Firefox derivative. It has not updated through the Chromium or through the Quantum core of Firefox. So it's kind of like an older Firefox. So if there's older extensions you still need, it will work great. It's Firefox that has a lot of your security stuff done. So it's a little bit more private, a little bit more secure than Firefox.
And then they removed some of the stuff like the extensions, recommendations, and Pocket and all that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they removed a lot of that
pockets.
stuff. Which actually, most of that, they just never added it because most of that stuff came on after they switched to Quantum.
I
You
actually
can easily migrate to Waterfox. You can take your Firefox folders that you got in it and dump it in the Waterfox folder in your Linux in your home directory, and all your links and everything will pop up just like they did in Waterfox.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Or Firefox, excuse me.
I don't mind Pocket. It doesn't. I just turn off the suggested store or the sponsored stories, but I don't actually mind it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some interesting stuff. Like, that's pretty much how I get news now.
Okay. Yeah.
I just turn off. There's like a thing. It's called suggested content or something, and it's basically where advertisers can put their content in there in the Pocket feed, which you can turn off.
Yeah. So let me jump back to Waterfox and finish my thoughts on that real quick. The downside of it is you'd have to manually install it. So I have a video about how to manually install it system-wide. On my Fedora case, I haven't bothered to manually install it system-wide. I simply threw a link to it on the dashboard, and that's all I needed. So actually, Alexander here says he used Firefox, but not happy with Quantum releases. I'm using version 56. I would, for you, definitely switch to Waterfox because you're going to... It keeps with that old pre-Quantum Firefox push, but it continues to get security updates. So look into that Waterfox for you for sure. So
honestly, I don't even think if they haven't done it at this point, I don't think they're going to switch to Quantum Core. I think they're probably just going to go with their own thing.
I've found Quantum is pretty resource heavy. I mean, you open up a desktop with a new distro in it, and it's using like 600 megabytes, and poof, you open Firefox, and it's like 1.5 gigs. It shoots up to.
Here, I can check my RAM usage here, but that's probably not.
I'm going to check mine as well.
It's probably not fair because I'm using GNOME, which uses like all the memory.
Well, but if you pull up the resource though, you can actually search for what package specifically you're using. So
Firefox is using 278.4 megabytes right now.
Yeah, that's what I have. I'm running about 200, and I have
Oh, they might have trimmed it down in the last couple of updates.
I'm using have.
I'm using 3.6 gigs of RAM right now, but I have 20 gigs in my machine.
20 gigs?
Yeah. The machine, I bought 16 to put in this machine, and it came with 4.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm running 16 on this. I wanted to get up to 32, but
this machine doesn't support more than 24.
Mm. So Sproid likes Vivaldi. Best feature about Vivaldi is you can change the user agent to make it look like Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, or Firefox. Okay, that's cool.
You can do that in pretty much any browser.
Yeah, probably. One of my builds, I use themes extensively on Firefox, but
yeah, my CPU usage is pretty high though. But I have this is a quad core CPU, but it's hyper threaded to have 8.
Oh, so you have 8 threads. Yep.
I think this is a 6-thread CPU. This is it's an Intel Xeon from about 2011, so this is not the newest CPU, but this is what I have here.
Oh yeah, well, you have 8. You have 8 processing threads. There.
Yeah, but it's hyper threaded. I only have 6 installed.
No, so that means that you have 4 cores, and each core contributes 2 threads.
Okay.
So you have 8 processing threads. So hyper threaded means that each core can do 2 processes. That's what mine's.
This is what I have, though.
I think a Xeon's a server grade chip, isn't it?
Yeah, it's server and workstation. That's why I bought this computer, so I could do stuff like that on it, but I haven't really done much yet.
Yeah. I mean, I built mine this beefy so I can stream with, multiple cameras and distros and things like that. So
I'm sure I could do that on this computer, but I don't have multiple cameras.
Yeah. Let's see. Snazzy Butterfly likes Firefox, Waterfox, and Vivaldi, with Vivaldi being the favorite. Okay.
Go Vivaldi.
And I guess Keegan is using Netscape Navigator.
Actually, Firefox is using more memory than the shell is.
That doesn't surprise me, especially if you're on GNOME 3.0 or 3.30 or higher.
This is 3.30. Yeah. This is the latest version of Fedora.
That's going to be a lot lighter on the shell.
The other thing is my font manager takes up a lot of memory, and that's just running in the background.
Netscape is one instance where you're going to use less memory than the kernel does to surf the web.
Yeah. But you might get 5 viruses while you do it.
Yeah.
And this is weird. GNOME Calendar, I don't even have that open, and it's running in the background.
That's one of the things I don't like about GNOME. It just runs so much crap.
Software isn't running either. I don't know what web content is. Oh, that's something for Firefox.
Is it actually running or just listed and listed as deactivated?
But I don't. It's using the most. It's using 385 megabytes. Yeah, so my GNOME shell is only running 111 megabytes. So
yeah, them things are sitting just in RAM, just in case you want to use them.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I mean, what else? I know QuickBooks likes to do that. Your Microsoft Office and your Adobe products like to do that, starting them out in the RAM just so that they boot faster. I'd rather it boot slower and have the rest of the computer run faster.
But yeah, this app Solar. This is like a thing where you can reprogram Logitech unified receivers. I have not opened that in probably about 4 weeks, and it's running in the background.
What is it? Oh,
Solar. It's a program that lets you reprogram the Logitech unified receivers. Those little receiver things.
Yeah, what I always do with those is I run those in a virtual machine so that they don't stay perpetually running in the background, because it's proprietary software. You never know what in the world that's doing.
Solar is open source.
Oh, is it?
The Logitech version is proprietary, but the Logitech version doesn't run on Linux. So there's a Linux version called Solar. That's
I always just boot up a virtual machine Windows and just do it there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a lot of stuff in here. My fonts manager is an app image. I wonder if that's why it's using so much memory.
IceCat's also great. I have not used IceCat before.
What is that?
It is. I think it's a Debian base. Is it based on Firefox? I think.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's Iceweasel. That was the old Firefox browser.
That was an old one, but IceCat I think was a variation of Iceweasel. I can't remember. Louis says I need a Discord server.
You do.
Is that something else I need to manage? Really?
I would manage it, Tom. I'm bored and I just go on Discord sometimes and I just leave it open.
Or don't you go outside and play with other kids your age?
Well, there's not many other people that are my age or that are our neighbors.
Oh.
We do go on a lot of walks outside, though.
There you go. That's always good.
But I don't have we don't really have, there's no immediate neighbors around us.
That's so sad. When I was your age, even if there wasn't a kid within 4 houses around or 6 houses around, you could go a whole city block away to go see a friend, and nobody thought twice about it.
Yeah, those were the good old days. We'd disappear into the woods until dinner time. You know?
Yeah.
Will Microsoft Edge be available on Linux now they're using the Chromium engine soon? It's possible, Adam. That's one of the things that that they're switching for, is that it's not a Windows-based program anymore. And so it will be available. I know it will be available on Mac. I think it will be available on Linux as well.
It should be available on Mac if they're doing this Chromium thing. And I assume they would do, since Microsoft is all into Linux now, I'm sure they're going to make a Linux port.
That's my guess. My guess is we will see it. Although installing Internet Explorer on Linux just seems like the stupidest thing to do in the world with a Linux machine.
There actually was I don't know if it ever worked on Linux, but there was a version of Internet Explorer 5 that was for HP UX and Solaris.
I did read something about a week ago where Microsoft is making this move with Google because they approached Mozilla, and Mozilla didn't want anything to do with them because Mozilla and Canonical got their eyes on each other. Something could merge between them in the not so distant future. And that's all the article had to say about it.
Chrome is for the NSA. Okay, there you go. I probably agree to that.
Thing is, couldn't Pizza use Chromium? He can just sign in with his Google account on Chromium.
I think that there's something specific about the proprietary Chrome that made it work better. I don't know. I'd have to ask.
The Chrome just shines brighter.
I guess. Sad thing about browsers is that you want to use popular ones in order to get the latest and greatest technologies. I don't want the latest and greatest technologies, so I don't really care personally. I just want stuff to work. And as far as, everything I can tell, Waterfox, Firefox, Chromium, everything works. Waterfox, of course, doesn't work with Hangouts, but
they were trying there for a bit.
Yeah. Richard Addison would choose Vivaldi over Opera any day. I probably would as well.
Vivaldi
Chromium has been invaded by Google. Well, Chromium is made by Google, so it doesn't surprise me.
Vivaldi is actually made by a former Opera developer.
Oh, yeah. I think somebody just left a comment about that.
It's sort of like Firefox. Like Opera is the Firefox, Vivaldi is the Waterfox. Like how Vivaldi doesn't have all that junk in it.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Silly Bay Boy. Which browser do you use when Mozilla switches to DNS over HTTPS over Cloudflare only?
Wait, what are they doing?
Lord. I don't know. That's the first I've ever heard of that. If they do something stupid like that, then Waterfox it'll be.
Wait, where are you in the... Wait, let me see. Yeah, which browser and
yeah.
How is that? Why are they doing that?
I think it's to prevent man-in-the-middle on DNS attacks. But frankly, if it's, I think CloudFlare is one of these technologies we need to watch with a closer eye than we're watching. They're flying under the radar and taking more control of more aspects on the web than we can possibly shake a stick at. And frankly, I don't trust CloudFlare very much.
Bad that I use CloudFlare on my website. I have CloudFlare SSL on my website, and I use everything. All the traffic is through CloudFlare, but I can easily take it off.
Yeah, and you're not alone. And here's the problem: is so many websites are doing that. CloudFlare is becoming the Google to the DNS, and so it's get to the point where if you don't use CloudFlare, you're not on the internet, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I may end up taking it off soon because I can easily do that. I just have to screenshot my DNS records, change the names.
If you're on WordPress, don't do it yet. There is a botnet attacking WordPress websites.
Wait, what is attacking WordPress?
There is a botnet of infected WordPress websites attempting to cannibalize their own, and nobody quite knows what the end game is yet.
Well, this is bad because that site that I showed you, is that going to get attacked?
We'll talk off camera. I'll tell you about how to mitigate against it.
That has a pretty secure password.
Well, it depends also what the username is. We'll talk. Dan, what's your thoughts on CloudFlare, Dan?
On Cloud what?
CloudFlare.
I don't even know what it is, and I don't want to know. I don't do clouds at all.
No. This is important, Dan. This is like the Google of DNS. Literally, a large, massive chunk of the internet is controlled by CloudFlare.
And maybe you ought to explain what it is.
All right, so it's Quint, go ahead.
It's a CDN, or a content delivery network. It's basically you set up your website on this, and you change your name servers to their name servers, and you manage the DNS and all that through them, and it'll go through a proxy that's supposed to speed up and protect your website.
It sounds like too much overkill.
It is a little overkill, especially for my tiny one-page website, which I should probably take it off.
It's a lot of overkill. Here's the downside, is that CloudFlare blocks nearly all Tor connections. So if you're using best practices for security and privacy on the internet, you can't get to those websites.
Yeah, and it's censorship too.
It is, and if they decide, and Cloudflare was one of the companies that decided they weren't going to host certain organizations, and that caused a little bit of a ruckus because the guy woke up one day and said, "I was in a bad mood, so I decided to kick this guy off our platform." What?
Well, is there any room for anybody to put any competition up against this?
Not really. And that's what my major issue is.
Honestly, Tom, I don't think you should be using Komodo SSL on your websites anymore.
What's that?
I don't think you should be using Komodo SSL on your websites anymore.
Why is that?
What?
Why is that?
Mainly because it's just a big company, and you don't know what they're doing. It's sort of like the same thing as Cloudflare. They want to control the internet.
So I could either go Komodo or Let's Encrypt, and the reason I went with Komodo rather than Let's Encrypt is because they also are a huge security firm that has been in the business for a while. That's why I went with them. If I notice anything weird and funky with them, I can switch everything over to Let's Encrypt easily.
Yeah.
The way my master server is set up, I can either pick one or the other, and I can't bounce between them. So
it only says, you can't tell it's Komodo. It just says verified by cPanel Inc.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, and that's because cPanel is teaming up with Komodo to push free SSLs. So that's, of course, if you're on something like, if you're on any EIG company, so HostGator, Bluehost, etc., or if you're on GoDaddy, they block it. So you can't use that free because they want to upsell it to you. That's one of the reasons why
you have to get GoDaddy SSL on GoDaddy.
Yeah, so which is about $70 a year, and so that's why you want to get off of that.
Yeah. I know Plesk, which is what I use, has built-in Let's Encrypt.
Yeah, again, if it's not blocked from the carrier, whoever you're using.
I'm using DigitalOcean,
yeah,
so
they're
block.
not going to block any of that. They're not going to.
Because I actually like with DigitalOcean, it's not that you actually own, like you're not a managed account like in one big like cPanel server server. You have your own server. Like I'm the admin account.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have full control over Plesk.
Okay, we talked about that one. Pale Moon. We haven't talked about Pale Moon. Anybody have thoughts on Pale Moon?
What is that?
Pale Moon.
That's another Firefox fork.
I've not heard of that.
It's kind of like Waterfox, except there's more of a team behind Pale Moon versus Waterfox is just one guy.
Do they have Quantum update yet?
I honestly don't know.
Because I'll use that if it has the Quantum update. I'll use that.
Let me look into Pale Moon real quick. Let me see what they got.
Just one guy supports Waterfox?
Correct. Yep.
Wow.
Right,
if he gets hit by a bus or something, we're done for.
That's it. Yep. All right.
These
so
are old.
Moon.
These screenshots look a little old.
This website's pretty stinking ancient. Yeah. Let's see. Optimize for browsers. Let's see for Linux desktop. So here's that. Here's that. Okay.
So I guess that is this is the picture on Windows 10. I guess that is what it looks like.
Go for release notes. So 28. So yeah, I mean, last update was just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I just got an email from PayPal asking me to add my phone number.
No.
Really?
That's what that notification
Why? So they can sell it?
It says for extra security.
Yeah, for extra security.
Do you want me to read the email?
Yeah, sure. Read it. You can screen share it as long as there's no information.
It doesn't have. It has my real name, my real last name in it, so I'm not going to screen share.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
So this is I'm just reading it off of my phone here. So it says, confirm your phone number for your PayPal account. Having your mobile phone number in your profile is an easy way to make sure your transactions are secure. In case there's ever an issue, we want to be able to contact you quickly. Is this the best way to get in touch? And then it's my phone number.
I'll tell you
what.
And
then a confirm button.
So I wouldn't, maybe ignore it. I don't know. So never, ever, ever, ever attach anything important to your mobile phone number. It becomes the absolute weakest link, too easy to steal, and all these verification messages with SMS are completely unsecure. And don't forget, just a couple weeks ago, that entire database leaked with billions of access codes and SMSs, which basically opened up.
And then here it says at the bottom, thank you for helping us keep your account safe, PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah, those kind of accounts get the telephone number to the local time. So when you dial my phone number, you get the time is at the tone beep 7:05.
Yeah, I would not confirm a phone number.
I actually do use. I have authentication keys for. I have two-factor authentication for DigitalOcean, but it's not on my phone. And then I have an SMS backup.
Yeah, I would not use the SMS backup. I would use something else as a backup.
The only issue is I don't want to put the DigitalOcean. I use an app called Authenticator. It's just it's a flat pack that lets you add. It basically acts as Google Authenticator, and you can add Google Authenticator apps to it. So I added it on the computer, but the issue is if I want to sign in somewhere else that's not a Linux computer, and I don't want to have it on my phone, how am I supposed to sign in?
Yeah, and that's an radical issue with two-factor authentication. It just assumes that you carry all this crap with you at all times, or that you can access anything. So if I'm going to a friend's house and I want to log in and check something over there, I don't have some other device to send a two-factor authentication.
That's why I have the SMS backup, is so I can access it in other places.
Yeah, but the problem with an SMS backup is it's sending a verification of your account in raw text over the air. That's a problem. So
what they need is they need to have like a Telegram backup or some sort of like other sort of messaging service that's encrypted.
I know Nextcloud supports a Telegram backup now. I'm not sure if I don't know if DigitalOcean does.
No, they don't. But that's what companies need to do is they need to have through a secure encrypted messaging app. Because I have access. I have Telegram on my phone. I don't really use it for much, but I have it on there.
Hey, look at that. Somebody else just tried to hack my WordPress website.
What? Oh, that email was funny. The email.
Oh, yeah. This wasn't that good. Yeah. Solar is sending your picture back to the FBI. Okay, that's good to know.
The other thing you're going to have to help me with this is I can't access my email on my server through IMAP. I add it in the email client and then it just spins. So like it just keeps loading and loading and it won't ever connect.
Check the ports. That's the first thing I'd check. Check to make sure the ports aren't in the firewall. Oh, Ben Fitzpatrick could not get Void to work either. See? I'm not the only one.
Can I get what to work?
Void Linux, I'm guessing.
Oh, Void Linux.
Ice Cat is the new Ice Weasel. Okay, so that's good to know. Oh, Pizza would also manage the Discord server. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll look into a Discord server. I don't know.
If Pizza's on, he can join.
Yeah, I sent him a link. I'm not sure if he said he could join or not. I don't know.
You post a message. He couldn't.
I had a crap internet connection. I had to use Link's terminal browser and still sometimes use it. Okay. Anyone have used the Link's terminal browser? I've not gone there yet.
I honestly want to try it with a very advanced responsive website to see how it would display it.
Probably the same way it'd send to a printer. Is Vivaldi more private than Chromium?
Probably not.
Who's the company behind it?
Because it's not open source.
I really don't know who makes it.
I think the company there is a company that is behind it. I have a few proprietary apps on here, but not much. I have FontBase, which is my font manager, and that's proprietary.
I don't want to play with it too much. I might get disconnected.
And then I have Steam, and then I have a few Steam games. I have Spotify. I have Discord, Skype, and Zoom.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything. Oh, I do have Zoom on this computer, I think.
That's pretty much. I think that's all I have that's proprietary. Oh, I have No Machine too. That's the other thing. I have No Machine.
Yeah, I don't see anything else I have. Of course, this is my, my production computer. I don't do a lot there. I probably have some other things. Jesse Crypto says, check PayPal. All right. Hey, thank you, Jesse. I can't check PayPal right now. My phone's on the charger.
Yeah.
Somewhere else over that way.
Do you know any good font managers for Linux?
I just use whatever the default is.
I use the font because I want to pull the Material Design font Roboto off from to have it on my computer. And this app, FontBase, automatically loads anytime a new version is released. It automatically loads it onto the computer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look.
This is like the only font manager I was able to find for Linux that has that functionality.
Oh, there's the real reason Pizza uses Chrome instead of Chromium. Chromium, he can't watch Netflix.
I can can watch Netflix and Firefox.
Waterfox will do Netflix, and if you enable.
You have to enable the DRM thing, but I was able to.
There's another thing. You have to enable third-party cookies for Hulu. If you're a Hulu subscriber, I got all these video subscriptions. I watch a third of them.
Yeah.
I think we have Pandora, we have Apple Music, we have Netflix, we have SiriusXM, we have all this other stuff.
Yeah, I canceled the Sirius.
We mainly just use SiriusXM in the car.
I used Pandora, and I wasn't going to pay for SiriusXM, my truck, so I had it canceled.
Yeah. Anyone got Google Video Streamer to work in Chromium?
What is that?
I don't know. Dan, do you know what Google Video Streamer is?
I have no idea.
We don't know, Adam. Sorry.
Are you talking about the live camera thing in YouTube? Is that what?
Maybe. I don't know.
I haven't tried that. I always just use OBS. I never use that.
If it is that camera thing, I have used it once in Chromium without a problem. Chromium is too much work to get some stuff to work. I don't know. The only place I've had issues with Chromium is in Fedora.
I don't have any issues. I'm on Chromium right now on Fedora. I have more issues with Chromium on Ubuntu than I do on Fedora.
Wondering if it had to do with the fact I had to get a separate repo installed. Like on Fedora KDE, it's not as easy to install the non-proprietary repos. You kind of have to manually find them, hunt them down, and install them in the terminal. So that's kind of what I did. I think I missed some.
I seem to have the opposite problems everyone else has. All the stuff I install in my computer, it all runs great. It don't matter what it is. It's when the distro finally crashes.
Yeah.
That's when I have issues, is when I have a distro crash. And usually it asks me to run this function called FSCK. It'll tell you to run it, and you type that command, and then you go /dev/sd_A1, and it'll go through and it fixes a bunch of broken files. And then the distro's all fine again.
So, Tom, do you think that that's this Linux laptop I have? It's an HP Stream with 4 gigs of RAM and a 64 gig SSD. It currently has, or it's an eMMC SSD. It's one of those things, but it currently has Ubuntu 18.04 on it. Like default with GNOME and everything, and it is slow. Should I put Peppermint on it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's slow running Ubuntu, I'd do Peppermint.
But it's running GNOME. I think that's probably the issue. It's GNOME.
What's the processor? What's the processor in the?
It's an Intel Celeron N3050.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't want to run that with GNOME.
Something lighter.
Yeah, do Peppermint on that. I think Peppermint.
Because I can barely that was the laptop that I was having issues with. Remember when I was at my cousin's house that time? That was the laptop.
Yeah, do Peppermint. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, I like ice. That's the main reason I want to try this.
The thing I don't like about Peppermint is it comes with nothing. You get almost nothing with it. You have to hold it like
you get ice applications into all your Google services.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. We don't like
I actually prefer the minimal installs because I uninstall a lot of the stuff that they put in there by default.
Yeah.
Like on Fedora, I uninstalled so much stuff.
Well, I like a distro that comes with tools to take care of itself. You know, like disk, gparted, smoke a USB drive if you need to do an ISO, you know.
I use Etcher for that.
Yeah, I finally wound up using that with Ubuntu because I couldn't get the Ubuntu one that they ship with it to actually do anything but Ubuntu-based distros. Yeah, it favors Ubuntu-based distros only.
There's a Fedora thing, too. It's called Fedora Media Writer, and it's like the same thing where it only likes to write Fedora.
Oh, really? I'll test it. I'll test it over here when
I think you can load a custom image, but I think it's like a really hard option to find. Like you have to go through all sorts of stuff to find this option that says load custom image.
Oh, I just booted up on the screen. It says Fedora Workstation 29, Fedora Server 29, or custom image. And then I can go right to image files. Huh, I'll
Okay,
give that a
maybe
try.
it's different.
I
don't know.
I don't know. It might be just.
But I remember you had to like go into a menu. I think maybe that's a different program. I can't remember.
That's the same program. So maybe they just had an update and made it easier. Hey, let's go back to web browsers because somebody else brought up Brave, an excellent browser. Of course, I am on a campaign against Brave personally. But what are your guys' thoughts?
I was curious to see what the Brave admin dashboard thing looked like. You know, the Brave payment. So I signed up for it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting. You basically have an option where you can add a website or a YouTube channel, which I didn't do any of that, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, I think that they're going to, if they're not careful, I think they're going to find themselves in a big legal mess over some of that. Because what they want to do, the thing is that the reason I don't like the Brave browser and I won't use it is because I find the company itself is disingenuous. So a brief history lesson on the company of Brave. They are not a privacy-centric company. This is founded by the guy who created JavaScript, and him and a couple other buddies got together to produce this new browser, and they raised $5 million, not on the basis of a browser, privacy browser or privacy. They raised their money on the platform that says we're going to change how internet advertising works, which sure is a very good problem to solve. So they raised a whole ton of money and then came out with the Brave browser. They created their own type of cryptocurrency called BAT, which you have to sign into one particular coin wallet to use that one particular platform, to use BAT.
Yeah, I never set up the coin wallet.
And so the problem with that is now they're saying that as you're browsing people's things, you can fund your BAT. And then as you're visiting websites, YouTube channels, whatever, then that money will go into that account's thing. And then once we have accumulated $100, then we'll contact that creator. And then that creator now has to create an account through all these platforms to get their money. So effectively, a legal argument could be made that said they are literally collecting money on my behalf using me, my website, my brand, my properties in order to collect money, that now they're going to force me to use their system to give that money to me. So people who wanted to support me are not actually supporting me because I will not sign up for their service. And so if they were to contact me and say, hey, we have $100 waiting for you because a lot of people have chosen it, now I could probably take them to court and say they need to give me that $100 or however much they have because they collected this money on my behalf without my consent, utilizing my brand, my websites, my images. And that is very disingenuous because I do not want anything to do with the Brave company. And you can still go right in. If you go in and look at my websites and my YouTube channel, you have the option to turn it on and auto-fund my work through Brave. And if you're doing that, that will never, ever reach me because I have nothing to do with Brave.
And don't you have if they contact the whoever the web or whoever owns the website, if there's privacy on it, they can't do anything.
Like
if there's no email forwarding on the private, because if what they do is they use whoever the webmaster contact from the whois is to contact you. And if you have privacy, no email.
Which by the way is stupid because if you have privacy turned on your domain, that will never get to you.
Yeah. I don't have privacy on my domain, but I checked and no personal information shows up. It's weird. Mm-hmm. It just says my state. It says my name, my state, and my country. That's it. No address.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something. I mean, I think you're probably okay with just that. But the problem, like, I don't know. There's issues with Brave. So as far as the browser itself, I don't know. Dan, have you used Brave?
No, I haven't. And here's the reason why. This is why I watch you guys. You tell me all this stuff, so I don't use it. You know?
Uh-oh.
I have a circle of YouTube friends like yourself, and we all have discussions and stuff like that about this stuff. And if something sounds like it's going to cause me more aggravation, who needs aggravation when you're over 50 years old? You know, you count on it. You spend your time with things that matter. So I haven't tried Brave because I've gotten so much negative, flack back from the internet community and the YouTube community, and especially the Linux community, which I'm very fond of.
The other reason, that's really the main reason I don't use it, is because the privacy issues, but also I tried it. The UI sucks. It is the worst browser UI I've pretty much ever used.
Oh, here we got an expert here telling me the same thing. Why should I use it if he's going to say that about it?
Was that in the comments or is that Quint?
Quint.
Okay.
The UI is just garbage. It's probably worse than Safari.
Yeah, see?
Have you looked at the UI? It's just, you can't, it's just awful.
I'm not going to waste my time putting it in my machine and then turning around and deciding I don't like it because someone told me I wouldn't like it. And I looked at it and you're right, I don't like it. And then I got to fish through my computer and rip out every little file that it's stuck in it.
Didn't you load Brave in a virtual machine, Tom?
Yes, I just did that the other day, in fact, to look into that when somebody had left that comment. Because there is actually a fairly high-profile guy that has come out against Brave, and I think if a few more of us do, they're going to find themselves in some trouble, is my thought.
I'll show you what the admin dashboard looks like after the stream ends.
Yeah, I hate to be the anti-Brave dude here, but what I said is how it turns out.
Hey, I'm the anti-Brave dude. I mean,
I am too.
All right. For those, Pete's also asked about this thing, and Jesse Crypto also says big botnets are attacking Drupal as well. So here's information. So this is from WordFence, who runs a big plugin. This plugin is a little shady to me right now. They just kind of went into wanting to collect a whole ton of data, and so I have some other ones here that Michael recommended I look into from Tux Digital. If you want to check out Tux Digital's channel, he told me to look into some other ones as well to replace WordFence. But nevertheless, you can argue WordFence is one of the ones on the front line of security on WordPress. So this is from December 5th. What ended up happening is a giant botnet of infected WordPress websites was infected. And now this botnet, which is by a Russian proxy, which is why this is not shut down, I don't know. So basically what's happening is the botnet is now targeting WordPress websites. So they are targeting, if you are using the default WP admin, they're targeting basically hitting your login page with a variety of usernames that include admin. It includes your domain URL, both with and without the .com in it. And it's basically trying to do brute force. But since it's a botnet, it's able to brute force a lot of sites simultaneously.
Yeah.
They seem to be hitting... yeah, hold on a minute. So they seem to be hitting sites every other hour about 5 times per attack, is what seems to be going on. That's the data that I am
Well, if
collecting.
they're that proficient, can't they backtrack them down and bust them?
Well, like we already know what some of the servers are, so I don't know why they're not getting busted. But still, this thing has been going on it started for me 1 week ago. So literally, I have had about 100 to 200 blocks on one of my websites daily for the last week.
I mean, you pick up the phone and get too nasty with politics on the phone and the FBI's at your door in a matter of days, So you'd think they would be able to track that down.
Yeah, you'd think, but,
When you set up WordPress in Plesk, it generates a username that's admin underscore a whole and then like a 5-character phrase of random numbers and letters.
Mm-hmm.
Which I usually sign in with email because I can't remember what it is.
Oh, you know what I could do? I could actually block this in my server.
But I don't know how to change the WP admin thing.
Are you saying you can take the bot out of the botnet?
Where it comes to my server, I can, yeah. Well, if I know that that's where they're pinging off of, I can simply block that, and that would probably do a good job for me. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But yeah, of course, Gutenberg is coming to Drupal too. I was looking at Drupal as a potential WordPress replacement, but Drupal's horrible enough without Gutenberg. I just think with Gutenberg, that might actually be an improvement. I don't know.
Names.
I tried Joomla, and I could not figure anything out.
Yeah, we can talk about it if you want. I'm probably jumping over to Joomla for some things that I do because it's more versatile than WordPress. It's just not as user friendly. And so it takes a little bit of learning to get used to how it works. Like I haven't managed a Joomla site in a few years, so I have to get in there and relearn it. But it's actually easy. It's easy once you figure it out, but it's not intuitive. It's not as easy to get into and jump into. Like WordPress is flat out simple.
Yeah. I switched. I'm doing a website for my mom because she does video production, and so she needs a website. And she had this domain for the longest time that was just on a GoDaddy Insta page with it said her name and her email on it. And so we're finally putting a website on there, and I decided to use Classic Press.
Okay, there you go.
It works really, really well. I love Classic Press.
Yep. Yeah, as long as you don't need e-commerce or, a lot of other weird functions. Like, that's one of the things I'm probably going to be doing for some clients as long as they don't need a store, because I build my WordPress websites, like I code them up from scratch with a lot of intense security built in from the ground up on the theming level. And I build them out so I don't need plugins usually. So
yeah, when I take my suits to the dry cleaners, I tell them I want Classic Press.
That's true. Absolutely.
This theme, I think it installed 5 plugins, but there's some that we're not going to even need. Like there's like a social button plugin, which I'm going to remove that anyways off of the site. So we're not going to need that. So I'll probably delete that. But I usually just install all the recommended plugins when I'm first setting up a site.
Yeah, I don't install anything.
Everything works fine in Classic Press. I have not noticed any errors.
Yeah, it should, because it's based on I think 4.98 fork, WordPress 4.98 fork.
I think it's 4.99 now.
Oh,
they added the 4.99 security fix.
Okay, yeah, okay. I know they forked it. They forked it in 4.9x somewhere. So, all right. So Lamer Linux says, got a question about Orbit for Android. Can Orbit hide my info and encryption my data? Let's see. Can it hide your info and encrypt your data? I don't think it does anything other than create a Tor node on selected services on the phone. So I don't think it's going to do that. I have no idea, though. Sorry.
As far as browsers go, once I find one or two of them that work really good for me, I don't usually change stuff too often. It's like this Waterfox that I'm using. When you go down to bookmarks, I got stuff in here that I bookmarked 10 years ago. And I've been flopping it from Firefox to Waterfox and back and forth. And half the pages don't even work anymore.
Yeah, it's probably been a decade since I've actually cleaned my bookmarks out. I might want to do that.
Bookmarks, I mean, even contacts in your email. I mean, I got some in there that are 10 years old, too, I need to clean out. Maybe we ought to have a discussion on computer maintenance next time.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I'm trying to think of I think the first web browser I used was Firefox, because that was on my parents' computer. And then I used Chrome, and then I went back to Firefox.
Okay. Lamer Linux, for VPN connection on your phone, use from F-Droid. You can get it's open. I think is it OpenVPN, or it's a VPN client you can get directly from there. It will work with NordVPN. I forget the name of it exactly, but
I think after I work on this one website that I was telling you about before, Tom. I'm getting paid to do that, so I'll probably buy an original Google Pixel.
Oh, cool. Nice.
After what I experienced with my little icon on YouTube winding up on a Google phone, I'm very, very with Google.
But this Google phone is going to run Lineage on it.
Oh, that's even better. Kudos to you, kid.
That's why I want to get a different one, because this is the Pixel 2 and there's no Lineage build. And plus, this is on a Verizon payment plan.
Well, I'm going to buy one too, and I'll send it to you, and you can set it up, and I'll pay you. I'm
thinking, uh-oh, my OBS is teetering a little bit, so.
Yeah, that's why I keep turning off my video on my side, because mine's
I've set up Lineage 14.1 on an old tablet, but I have not done 15. Is it the same?
Yeah, it should be the same.
Yeah,
just check the XDA forums or the Lineage site. For
it's actually a little bit simpler because it was a Samsung tablet, and you had to install some additional software to unlock the bootloader.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be simpler.
Samsungs, I think, are a little funky in that respect. I am Logic83, who uses Cubes OS. Not as a daily driver, but I do have a few Cubes installs running around. In fact, I really, really, really need to get into doing that. I'm wanting to get a video capture card before I start doing more Cubes tutorials, because the last ones I did just were not good quality. And it's very hard the way Cubes works to get all that stuff running. But yeah, that sounds fun. Telegram apparently has many vulnerabilities. Okay.
I know. I'm probably, if I do open chats on my YouTube channel, I'll probably use Wire. Wire it's more like Telegram, but it's like a business focused Telegram, where the server is not open source, but the client is open source.
Another guy for Brave, and you don't have to worry about other browsers.
And the other thing about Wire is that you can access it through a browser, just like Google Hangouts.
Yeah, that would be something to look into. So, like, I'm thinking, we might need to experiment and test with my own instance, my Talk instance. We might have to experiment with that sometime soon and see how that works. Because that's based on my Nextcloud build.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to do Wire because I don't really want to set up a whole Nextcloud build just for WebRTC, because the stuff that I put in the cloud, I usually put in Mega, which is the encrypted cloud storage provider. So I don't really need another cloud.
I don't do clouds. I like sunshine. Not that I don't like anything I own in data to be on any other place but on my own drives.
Yeah. I put stuff on the cloud for easily transferring over to a couple things. Like I do my news articles are on my cloud. Like nothing that's seriously personal is on my cloud. Of course my cloud is.
I can see if you have some of your business stuff that you got to hop from one building to another to access, you know.
I just back up my I back up all my old schoolwork that like doesn't even matter anymore to Mega.
Yeah, I don't like anything that's old. Like I only keep relevant stuff in a cloud instance. Everything that's not relevant, it gets backed up on site and off site.
I should probably just delete it. It's like stuff from 6th grade that I don't need.
If it's digital, just download it, put it on a hard drive, and put it in a safe somewhere. You might want it. You will want it later on. And the beautiful thing we have now is we don't have to keep boxes and boxes of stuff like that now, you know. Quint likes minimal installs. Perhaps you should try Arch. Quint, you want to try Arch?
I don't know how to set it up. I tried it, and
you don't set it up. You build it to your liking.
Like I looked at the wiki, I ran all the commands, and it was just a disaster.
You have to know what you want before you build it.
And I just want the computer to work, and I want to be able to get the latest packages. That's why I use Fedora.
The latest Arch Labs is actually a very nice walkthrough installer for Arch, which is pretty cool.
I considered Arch to try setting up Deepin, but you can just get that on Manjaro. Like, I like Manjaro.
Yeah.
I like it.
I just don't use Arch because it's too complicated to set up.
Manjaro's great if you can get it on your machine and maintain it.
I am Logic 83. I do not believe there is a Lineage build for the Galaxy J3, so I'm pretty sure you can.
None of the it's only I think some of the Galaxy A's and a few, and all of the Galaxy S's, except the S8 for some reason, have a Lineage build.
Yeah.
I don't know why the S8 doesn't have a Lineage build. It's weird. The S9 does.
Now there's Mark Yates. Brave is awful, to be honest. Probably the worst web browser I've ever used. I don't know if it's the worst web browser I've ever used. I mean, it's a browser. It's okay.
Internet Explorer is probably worse than Brave.
Oh, guaranteed. There's some Linux browsers I think are a lot worse than Brave.
What is it? Dillo? That one's pretty bad. And there's NetSurf. Is that what it is? I think it's NetSurf. That one's pretty bad, too.
Well, you guys are coming up with some stuff I've never even heard of.
There are 2 Linux browsers that are terrible.
Yeah, phone numbers is the worst thing to have in an ICANN registration. Yes. Make sure your phone number is not on that registration.
They're treating they're treating your phone number these days like it was your social security number.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the other thing is I applied to get one of these they're called NetSpin. It's these prepaid debit cards, and so it finally arrived like after a week. This was a few days ago that it arrived. And then I went to activate it and it wanted my social security number, and I was like, "No."
No.
I just threw it in the trash.
No.
It wanted my social security number to activate a prepaid debit card.
Yeah, there's a couple types of prepaid cards. That's one of them.
We're probably just going to get one from the bank.
Now, Dan, don't you use...
I have Green Dot.
And what do you have to do for that? Do you have to give personal information on that or not?
I don't think I had to give him a social security number. I'm almost certain. Well, here's... You go in the store and you buy one and you get like a starter card. That's your starter card. You load some money on it and you can use it, and it works a little bit with the internet and a little bit not, because it doesn't have your name on it or an expiration date, but it has a number. And places where just a number will work, it'll work fine until they send you your official one in the mail that has your name and everything on it. Two bad things about it I don't like. They raised their monthly service fee from $4.99 to $7.99. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I used to be able to put money on it for free at Myers. Now they right before Christmas they start charging everybody $4 to put money on it.
Eek.
Yeah, so now I'm looking for a cheaper place where I can load it.
I'm probably just going to get one from the bank, because the main reason I went with NetSpin is there are no service fees.
Well, here's the thing, Quint. In the Myers, there's a Huntington Bank right around the corner from the customer service desk. You can go over there and for as little as $50, open a check, no fee checking account and get a card with that, and it costs nothing. As long as you keep money in the account, it don't cost anything to have a checking account with a card with it. There's several ways you can play this game. All you got to do is look around and ask questions. Because if you go to a bank, Quint, they'll probably want your social security number too for tax purposes and all that.
Yeah, if you go to a bank, you're opening an account.
Yeah.
You're going to have everything.
I know there's people at school have gotten one from the bank. I think your parents are the ones who actually have the account set up, but you just get the card.
Yep, that's right.
And that's fine with me. Because I'm tired of having like 5 non-reloadable prepaid cards that I have to check the balance on.
Well, with the green dot card, when you get your official card and you go to their website and stuff like that to check your balance, they have a profile area, and you can check a box where they email you every single day with your balance. And the balance usually runs a day or two late from whatever you do with the card, but they do send you something letting you know what your balance is. And since I use Microsoft Money to balance all my cards, all my accounts and everything, I just go over and look at my green dot account, go, okay, it matches the email, I'm fine. I don't need to do any more.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's the only product Microsoft made that was really good was Microsoft Money, and then they canned it.
Yeah.
They extinguished it.
Do you think Microsoft will make a Linux distro like Google did? I don't know. Well, I mean, they already have a Linux build that's for their cloud infrastructure. We're going to wrap this up here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I have another video or another live stream I'm doing on my other channel at Our Walk in Christ at 9 Eastern, which is about 40 minutes from now. So I'm going to wrap this up at 8:30 so I can hang out with these guys off camera for a little bit. And then, so we'll do kind of a final call for comments here shortly. Any final words on web browsers, guys?
Yeah, did we miss any?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this one that's really bad. This is it right
browser.
here.
Okay.
Here, this is it. Here, let me.
Yeah, Quint, before we had the internet, we had what was called message boards, which required dialing a guy's house that had like 6 modems in his computer.
Yep.
So this is the web browser I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
All right.
This is like the worst website. This looks like Google Sites. That's what this looks like.
Was it Dilo?
Yeah, Dilo, something. Yeah, let me look at the screenshots. Okay, here, that looks awful, but that's just, look at the web page too.
Don't these web browsers actually have to submit to some kind of thing to get HTML5 certification?
I don't believe so. I mean, there's a validator you can run. But...
Or SSL security or something like that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this web browser even supports HTML5.
My guess is it probably doesn't. Jesse Crypto says, I don't understand why people don't use a regular credit card online, not use a debit. Visas from the bank, the cards from the bank, but credit cards are all insured for buyer protection. No, all cards, whether they are a debit card or a credit card, have that protection. If you can clarify that on the Visa and the MasterCard website. That is a fallacy that the credit card companies have taught America, is that if you use the credit card, you're not liable for fraud, but a bank's debit card, you are. That is absolutely not true. You are never liable for fraud on the card. It doesn't matter if it's a debit card or a credit card. It doesn't matter. Now, what does matter is, are you processing that card as a debit or are you processing that card as a credit card? You have to get the protection, you have to process the card as a credit card. But a lot of the stores, because it was cheaper to do debit through the bank, a lot of the stores want you to use debit through the PIN numbers and things. Never use your PIN number at a store unless you have a very specific reason to do it. Always run that through like a credit card. That is the only way you're going to get that protection. I have 4 or 5 stores
around here where I directly know the owners, so I give them the PIN number option. Because they tell me if I run it through credit, it costs them a lot more money.
Correct. Yes. That's why stores, about 2 or 3 years ago, stores started making the push to push people towards debit. And of course, like, we just follow through and do whatever the store defaults as. You know, so what ends up happening is they made this switch all of a sudden, and nearly every store you saw it, the default went from credit card processing to debit card processing. And the reason they did that is because it was cheaper for the store, which is good for the store. Make it cheaper for the store. That's cool. But at the same time, you do not have the same fraud protections if you run it through debit as you do running it through credit. So you always want to run through credit for the fraud protection.
So in other words, if I buy all my groceries with a credit card and run it through as credit and come home and find all my eggs are rotten, I can get protection on them.
No, the fraud protection is has somebody stolen. So you go to a store, you use your credit card, and someone compromises your number and steals a credit card, because it's like everything is getting compromised. I use my credit card maybe 10 times in a year. Okay. And I've gotten it compromised 3 times in the last year. I don't use my card and it still gets compromised. It doesn't matter if it was a credit card or a debit card. You still have the same exact fraud protection.
What do you use, though? Do you just use cash?
Cash. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cash is king, dude. I got it all over the place.
Yep.
I don't keep a lot of money. I put it this way. I do have money in the bank, but I keep a lot of it around the house because I can get things done a lot cheaper with cash than anything else. Mm-hmm. If I need a plumber to come over, oh, yeah, I take cash. Matter of fact, I can give you a better deal with cash.
Yep.
Cash has perks.
Yep. Let's see. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and let me scroll through the rest of these comments real quick. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Once again, I'll be on my other channel at Our Walk in Christ in about half an hour from now. So thanks for coming along on the stream discussing web browsers, and we will catch you guys later.
Yeah, someone just said I stuffed my mattress with cash.
Stuffing it with cash.
No.